Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
One thing I like.
Yeah.
One thing I really like.
Really like?
Is when A&M has success against their rivals.
Yeah.
And I would say that it's been pretty successful. I mean, football's over here. We'll get to that at some point, hopefully this year with Coach Elko. But what we've seen over the last week is 5-0 against two of your biggest rivals in baseball. Against, the Judas, as you call him, and his squad. And LSU that won the national championship last year. Coach Earley's beaten him twice now in 2 straight series. And a sweep. How sweep it is.
Yeah, it's awesome. Gosh, I wish Arkansas could have won another game against Georgia. But, A&M's down second place and hot and playing well. And who knows, maybe they'll make a run at the championship. But that was so impressive. And you know what was really impressive to me? I mean, anytime you sweep an opponent in the SEC on the road, that's amazing. I don't care if LSU is struggling. That is a proud program.
Yeah.
And so that's no small accomplishment, but all the production from the bottom of the order.
Yeah. Well, how about pitching?
And the pitching.
Pitching's been fantastic since we went on that plea. Please, just give me 4 or 5 good innings, guys.
Yeah.
They've been giving you that and more.
Yeah, today I think pitched 6. And then didn't Aiden Smith have I don't know his numbers, but I know it seemed like in the 7th inning
he was cruising along.
They were
7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts.
And then yesterday, didn't LSU wasn't there a no-hitter going for about 5 or 6 innings?
Weston Moss was fantastic, and then Gavin Lyons comes in and finishes the job. I know he gave up that run initially, but he did exactly what he had to do.
Yeah.
He's got 7 wins on the year.
Ethan Darden was good when he came in, and Freshcorn was good when he came in twice. So, yeah, and we always said they're going to be as good as the pitching, right?
Yep.
The pitching was very good. They're very good.
Hey, can I give a public service announcement?
Please do.
Slow down, people, right? And when I say slow down, don't enjoy the success, but I kind of think, there's no kind of, we need to sometimes let things play out before we have these definitive takes, and especially in baseball.
Okay.
So I think we should react to the moment all the time, okay?
All right.
I'm actually going more on the negative side, not right now, what's happening right now, okay? I'm not going to overreact to the way this team's playing, but we're more than halfway through, so I think there's a body of evidence to make me feel really good about this team hosting a regional and maybe competing for an SEC title.
Okay.
But I'm saying, early on, 3 weeks ago, where people wanted to fire coaches and people were giving up on the season, baseball is a sport that you got to take the entire narrative. We on this show will react daily to what happens, right? But I'm talking about the overreaction based on a bad inning, a bad performance, a series loss. Because guess what, guys? It could happen this year. They might lose a series, right? That's called baseball. So instead of, you can react. Let's just not overreact. And I'm not even overreacting to the way this team's playing because I think there's more of a body of evidence now, right? They've played more than half the season in the SEC. They've won, 3 straight SEC series? They've won 8 out of 9 SEC games, or is it more than that?
I think it's 4.
4 straight series. So, I'm reacting to that. Does that mean I think this team's going to win a national championship this year? I don't know. I don't know enough about anybody. I do know that I'm going to react to what they've done right now and what they've done so far, And I am super excited about what I think the SEC Coach of the Year is going to do this year as the season finishes out. But the overreaction, especially negatively, is not healthy. And those folks have been a little quiet the last few weeks that were overreacting after a loss to Vanderbilt in the first game of a series.
Yeah, since then, what has A&M won like? Well, they won the next two against Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
They won two against Texas.
They lost the midweek game, and that's it.
But 7 straight SEC wins. I don't know. It's pretty good in White Oak. I don't know about anywhere else.
I think in A-Leaf, Texas is pretty good too.
Okay.
But so don't overreact. React appropriately.
Words of wisdom from a wise man.
Thank you.
You can agree all that, and you know what? But just, enjoy what's going on.
I will overreact to Jorian Wilson.
Oh, man. You know, Jorian Wilson, you're like watching this man-child just growing up before your eyes. That game on Friday night.
2 long balls.
Two deep home runs to the opposite field.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he got it, if he hit it as well as he can. Went to the opposite field. And I remember the first, I thought, I hope that goes out. And it turns out it was like 20 feet, over the fence. It was 2 no-doubters.
Yeah.
And you know what? Saturday, he didn't get the home run, but he had a big single in a big inning that, played it. Did he drive in 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great weekend. And
bottom of the order.
This kid is just growing up. And I'll give Bronny props, I believe. And Nick, you might remember exactly how he phrased it. But he thought this series could be interesting for Jorian based on the way they pitch, the way LSU pitches. And he said, take a look, let's see what happens. Does he take that next step? And I'll ask him when he's here what he saw from that pitching staff initially that made him have a little pause, but also a little bit of like, this could be his coming out party. So we'll talk to Bronny about that a little bit later. But
how about Bear hitting right behind him?
Dude.
He had a home run this week, had a couple of hits, but more than that, he's always on base.
Actually, we're 7 minutes and 44 seconds into this show, and we have not mentioned Chris Hakopian.
Chris Hakopian, toughest guy in baseball. Yeah. Get hit in the mouth with a fast 93 mile per hour fastball and starts the next day and hits a home run, right?
Yeah.
It's a 2-run home run into the wind.
Yeah,
yes.
He got off to a little bit of a slow start. Oh, he was A, injured, and B, then this month, I think a couple weeks ago, he had like 4 hits at one point only through like 2 weeks. And since then, he has steadily gotten better, gets hit in the face, bleeds everywhere. It's ugly. And he's in the lineup the next day. I did not expect that. My brother texted me that morning. Not that I had any insight. I wasn't there. Great job by Richard Zane with all of his coverage, by the way, in Baton Rouge. But I was like, I can't imagine this kid who, I think the way Richard described it was his teeth were moved, right? Like I can't imagine he's in the lineup, and he's in the freaking lineup.
And he hits a home run.
Yep.
I think he might have had 2 hits. But yeah, baseball, people sometimes make fun of baseball players because, they can stay out a long time with an injury that maybe, got an oblique strain or something. I've got to miss 2 weeks, And they always say like football players will just tape up with a bone show and play. You don't get much tougher than getting hit in the mouth with a 93 mile per hour fastball and then come back the very next day and hit a home run.
So we may need to fact check this, and I probably shouldn't read it out loud, but Caden Schwartner, who used to work for us, sent me this tweet about what made this weekend even sweeter. And I don't know, Nick, if you've seen this, but what made this weekend even more sweet was the Tigers never held the lead in any of the 3 games against the Aggies, something that, according to records, has never happened in a home series for LSU, or at least not in recent memory. I don't know if that's true or not. I like the way it sounds. I hope it's true.
I like the way it sounds.
I probably shouldn't read it because I like to fact check things, but sounds like, if true, I like it.
And of course,
and if not, I still like it.
I'm sure you heard or saw Liucci and others, not just Liucci, talking about how how Alex Box Stadium was had sparse crowds.
Yes,
just like the football that A&M came in there, dominated, and people started showing. Richard Zane sent a text message to me and said, "Hey, if your son needs a place to study, it's pretty quiet at Alex Box Stadium." Of course, my son responded and said, "Well, I couldn't see anyway. From my view, would be obstructed by all those national championship banners." And then he sent back, "Tell Richard that was a good one." So they've cleared out Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, and Alex Box.
Alex Box. I don't know if anybody shows up for basketball at the PMAC anymore, but at least not lately.
So in Richard's video on Saturday that he posted on Twitter, he kind of went through all the domination of LSU this year.
Yeah.
Tennis, both men's and women. Basketball, they won both games. Baseball, you know what happened in football. I'm sure there's others we can add to the list. Volleyball as well. So
if they had equestrian. Yeah, we're not going to talk about women's basketball, but everything else.
Many things.
Yeah, many things.
Many things. This is the first segment where we try to hit the biggest stories of the weekend. I think we're going to get into some spring ball, obviously, throughout the hour. But, by the way, segment number 1 of college baseball. Damian Sanford, the injury in the spring game. Hard one, man.
I understand. I get it, why you play a spring game, especially now with the transfer portal, new players. And I just don't ever think it's worth the risk.
But
personally.
But don't you think they're going to do it anyway? Like, well, I mean, it's like a scrimmage, right?
You can get hurt in practice.
Right.
Last year, Ruben Owens got hurt in practice.
Right.
So I get it, and you can't play scared. And yet I still don't think Olin Buchanan, who cares what Olin Buchanan thinks? Nobody cares what I think, but I'm going to say it anyway.
There's like 9 people listening.
There might be 9 that says, I just don't think, though, a spring game, the risk is worth the reward. But I'm not the coach.
But can I counter that?
Yes, dude, please do.
Let me counter that.
Counterpoint.
I think they're going to play 4 scrimmages regardless. So if they already had 3, it's going to be like when like Texas and other schools don't have a spring game, they're still going to practice the same way.
You're right.
Right? So that's why I know what you mean. I think the difference is there's cameras, there's people watching it. If we would have gotten a report back to Damian, but we saw what his ankle looked like.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I think makes it more real because we saw it.
Yeah. Everything you said is right, and I acknowledged it.
Mm-hmm.
I acknowledge.
But you're just like, but it's still not worth it.
I kind of think that maybe there's a little more effort. Now, effort's probably not the right word. Yeah, I think it's just different in a real game like atmosphere with an audience. Yes, he could have gotten hurt in any of those situations. I acknowledge that. I'm even acknowledging I'm probably wrong, especially because of the transfer portal now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to find out who you got and what they can do. And I just think, but man, I just wonder if the value is really worth it.
Yeah, I get that. Coach Elko, when asked about it, lower body, we'll figure it out.
Well,
he's not going to talk about injuries. And honestly, many of us play MD from the sidelines. Oh, that's this, that's that. He's done for 8 years. Oh, he'll be back in 3 weeks. I had a situation like me. I had a very similar injury at MMA training. Okay, it wasn't as similar. But like don't overreact to. I think we all have a feeling we think we know what's going to happen. Let's just let it play out.
I think that I would, if I was a coach. First of all, I'd probably get fired after 1 year if I even got through my first season. But if I was a coach, I don't know what their schedules look like and everything, but I think I would start spring football like in mid-February.
Oh. Right after the season.
Because I know, and they're probably saying, well, that we want to do more lifting and things. I get there's got to be a reason why it makes more sense. Because if I did get somebody hurt, that would give me an extra month or so to get them healed.
Yeah, but then fall camp happens in the summer,
and you might get hurt.
And you get
in the
injured
summer.
there.
Yeah, again, you can't play scared. I get it, and here I am saying play scared.
But you just want our guys healthy for the season, and.
Well, what did we say Friday? He said, all I'm going to do is watch that game, and the main thing I'm going to do is just hold my breath that nobody gets hurt. And we saw the video from the TV, and it looks like a significant injury, but like you said, I'm no doctor. So
yeah. Hey, we should probably tell the people what show they're listening to. This
You're
is
listening
not
to TexAgs.
MD.com.
No, it's TexAgs Live.
Thank you. Presented by
David Gardner's Jewelers.
Yeah, that's right. Gem of a guy, right?
He is. So is Julia, but she's a girl.
Woman.
Yeah.
In the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Brought to you by Jason, Jackson, Keith,
Morgan,
and the boys.
And the girls.
And the girls.
And this hour is the name. We call it the Go Hour, presented by the Go Hour, the warehouse at CC Creations.
CC, senor.
I think my mic cut out, so I had to sit up a little bit. And we're typically sitting right over there.
In the holistic planning cool zone, but the cool zone travels.
It travels.
Because they'll work to on your investments to make you money, to help you keep your money, and they'll do it from wherever it takes.
Right.
You know, they're not going to just sit in one place all the time.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, they're working for you.
Wherever you go, they're working for you. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do it. You can call us. Tell us your thoughts on the spring game. Tell us your thoughts on Aggie baseball. Tell us your thoughts on the Aggie softball sweep / comeback.
Maya Perez.
We're going to get that update here in a moment. You can do that on the Buppy's Catering and
Bartending.
hotline, 979-693.
1150.
You can text that number as well, but we changed the name when you text it. We call it the Catalyst Pure Performance
Energy.
Text line, PPE, 979-693-1150. We go around the room. We go left to right. We go behind the glass. We say hi to the Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's up?
Well, you know, whenever a player comes to the plate, I don't know if y'all feel this way or not, there's a certain level of confidence you feel, right? Like Grahovac, Sorrell, you always feel uber confident. And I was really 1 through 8 in that lineup, like 8 guys I felt really confident every time they come to the plate. And that one guy that wasn't there just yet was Jorian Wilson, just because he was a freshman and we hadn't seen him. We've seen flashes, but I feel like we hadn't seen him put together a complete series. That'll change on Friday night when he hit 2 backside home runs, just absolute nukes. So I really think this team is 1 through 9 lineup that, like, it's full strength, full steam ahead, really impressive. And Mark Etheridge, D1 baseball senior writer, he put out a tweet. Texas A&M has only lost only 7 games all season. In those 7 losses, it has allowed 11 runs, 8 runs, 12, 9, 8, 14, and 9 runs. So basically, if the Aggie pitching staff can keep its opponent below 8 runs, they got a chance to win. And that continued this weekend. Really fun series. And yeah, they're absolutely in the conversation of hosting now.
The pitching turnaround, right? Like what we've seen the last few weeks against good lineups, by the way, should be studied. I don't know what JK and Coach Earley are doing, but it's working.
Yeah, because that LSU lineup, I mean, didn't they score like 17 runs against Kentucky? And they've had games where they've scored like double figures in the SEC play on more than 1 or 2 occasions.
Yeah, it's a team that it's hard to figure out, and I've listened to a couple of Jay Johnson press conferences afterwards. Like, they've got really good pitching, they've got a good offense. It's just not working, and sometimes that's baseball.
You know, I look forward to the graduation of LSU. You know, next month.
Yeah.
To see my son graduate. I also look forward to seeing that little sawed-off shortstop that's been looks like he's about 5'4".
Yeah.
He goes a Tuve on the Aggies, right? I can't think of his name right now. Why am I not there? Somebody's going to know his name.
Nick knows it.
That guy's hitting
Monster
home.
Milam.
That guy drives me crazy.
He's a good player. And by the way,
How many home runs has he hit against the Aggies in his career? I know you don't know that, but that's just a rhetorical question. I mean, that guy's been a thorn in my side. He's like the Todd Blythe or Nick Fitzgerald equivalent for baseball from football.
You were going to say, Nick?
I said A&M is up to 7 in this week's D1 baseball
Where's
poll.
Texas?
They are 4th.
See, it makes no sense to me. You have a better record than them. You're ahead of them in the overall. You're ahead of them in the SEC standings, and you beat them twice.
Yeah, but
I mean, I don't care.
Just keep winning.
Just keep winning.
It don't matter.
Just keep winning and host. Keep winning and host.
Keep winning and host. Let's go to Dorsey at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. What's up?
Good morning. Well, you mentioned softball earlier, so I was going to give a little update about that. But number 11, Texas A&M softball sweeps number 14, Mississippi State this weekend across 3 games. The Aggies only allowed 4 total runs. In Game 1, Maya Perez opened up the game with a 237-foot solo home run, and Sidney Peters limited the Bulldogs to just 4 hits and 1 run before closing out the final 2 innings. Cindy Lesentine threw her first SEC shutout in Game 2. She limited Mississippi State to a 190 batting average and allowing just 3 hits. And in Game 3, the Aggies were able to erase a 6-run deficit to secure the sweep.
How many scored that inning? 9, was it?
Yes, 9. Trisha Ford and her squad will take on South Carolina this weekend.
Maya Perez with 2 home runs this week, won a grand slam in that 9-run inning.
How about your favorite player?
KK. I don't know what she did.
Do you have any stats on KK?
I know the Paisley, I can't think of her last name. She had two home runs too.
Paisley Allen.
Allen, thank you.
You have any stats on what KK did this weekend?
Let me.
We'll get it. We'll get it here in a moment. But
I mean, and Sydney.
Lesentine?
No, Sydney. The
Peters
pitched really well in the first game. I think did she not come in when they were down 6-0 and pitched really well and gave them that opportunity to come out? So that girl, she needs to be acknowledged. Nice job.
Well, we have tomorrow's performance of the week. So,
she may be acknowledged then.
Yeah. No,
there's a lot of people to be acknowledged.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break.
Okay.
We'll come back. Let's do some more spring football talk.
Yeah.
We'll probably do some more college baseball talk on the program as well.
Did talk about all that college football? Brauninger sign off on that?
Let's talk 1775 because
let's do.
A baseball team that sweeps a rival and then sweeps another rival deserves the
unrivaled taste of 1775 barbecue.
I like the way you phrased that.
That's how they should be rewarded.
They don't serve tiger, but they do serve.
They do serve cow.
Yeah, they do serve cow.
And they do great things with that cow.
Yeah, they do.
You know, you were talking about earlier about not overreacting to stuff because, things happen. So think of it, baseball, as like smoked brisket. You got to take your time. You got to bring it along slowly. And if you do it just right, you have a tremendous baseball season. If you do it just right, in barbecue, you have this tremendous succulent brisket from 1775, but they also make amazing pork ribs. And then there's that jalapeno cheese sausage, great turkey. If you're watching your weight a little bit, the turkey's amazing. And then, of course, if you're not watching your weight, and maybe even if you are, they have that queso mac and cheese. And we only call it queso mac and cheese. I don't even think they call it that. Maybe they'll start.
It's a dessert for your eyes. It's a dessert for your mouth, but it's not a dessert.
It's not a dessert.
It's a main meal, buddy.
Yeah, you can make a main meal out of it. You know what I would even consider is getting a bunch of that queso mac and cheese, chopping up some of that brisket and mixing it together. Oh my gosh, what are we talking about?
We'll call that an Olin delight.
That would be an Olin delight.
1775txbbq.com is the website. You can call them up. 9796. No, I was about to give you the number here. 979-492-6241. It's 1775.
And it's really good.
Delicioso. Hey everyone, David Nuño here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. I don't know what's happening in College Station, but I just saw a bunch of the police activity down on Bush. So if anybody knows, text the show, because it was a lot. Like, it was almost alarming how much I just saw.
Well, I hope no one's hurt. I'll just leave it at that.
Yep. Yes, sir. Let's move on to some more spring game talk. I think there's so many different layers to the spring game, and look, the spring game to me, it's not about the stats of the game, but certain things that I think caught my attention. Some of it is stats, right? But most of it is just how people looked.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, for me, and I don't know if he was 1A, 1B, but I think Zay Horton announcing himself to everybody like, this is what you're going to get with me.
Yeah.
He is not Casey Concepcion. He might be a different level of just as good.
He's different.
Yeah.
And if he's not as good as Casey, okay. I mean, that's no indictment on him, but he has amazing hands.
Yeah.
And again, those 50-50 balls become,
70-30 balls.
70-30, yeah.
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 That one play, the 33-yard catch where I think it was Chance Collins like had great coverage.
Great coverage.
And he bent over to I don't even know how he made the catch.
Yeah,
it was that beautiful.
He reached down. I expect the 6'4" guy to be jumping up to catch balls over guys, those 50-50 balls, but he reached down. It just showed again how great his hands are. And then his other catch was well covered on the other sideline. And I don't know if it was a back shoulder throw or if it was just a throw behind him, but he reached back and made a heck of a catch on that one too. They tried to throw a fade to him and he didn't get that one, but he almost did, and that was underthrown.
Yeah.
And he still almost pulled it off. So, yeah, I think I feel very confident that they hit with Isaiah Horton. I think he's everything that we've been hearing about him.
Yeah,
he showed it.
And Mario Craver, in the little bit that he played,
he's just Mario Craver.
Yeah, and Billy had a write-up on Friday. I think it was Friday. Might have been Thursday. And he just talked about how both Mario and Marcel had such elite spring camps, that they were elite. So if we get the Mario Craver that we got for the first half of the year, because I think the second half of the year, he was dealing with some injuries. He wasn't 100% himself. If we get that first half guy again next year and takes a step forward, because I think he has taken a step forward with Zay Horton and some of those young players, I think, ABR was there.
Yeah, he had a heck of a catch.
Heck of a catch, absolutely. So
about a 25-yard catch. It was a nice throw by the number 13. I'm not fully in football mode yet.
Brady Hart. Yeah, Brady Hart, who I thought looked great.
I thought he did too. I thought he showed that he's probably the number 2 quarterback.
When we come back, OP, I do want to talk kicking game.
Absolutely.
I do want to talk Jamarian Morrow.
Absolutely.
I do want to talk quarterbacks, because I think we saw 3 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And touch some of the defensive people that stood out.
Yeah, we need to.
We'll do a full segment on the on spring football on the other side. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back with more. Right now we're talking about Rollo Insurance. That's my official insurance provider. They should be yours. The difference is real. They've got 60 offices in Texas, and that number's probably grown since I wrote this, but the difference is real. Their headquarters is on Highway 6 here in College Station. And whether it's home, auto, or business or ranch insurance, start a relationship with experts who put you first. Your agent becomes familiar with your specific situation, and they provide a customized plan that mass market insurance simply cannot match. That's the Rollo way. They're going to know your situation, and they're going to take amazing care of you. Whether you need advice or have a claim, you'll speak directly with someone who knows you by name. That, again, is part of the Rollo difference. Call them up at 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Hey everyone, David Nuño of TexAgs Live, and I'm here with Brandon Moreau of Brazos Valley Floor and Design. They're a family-owned business, and Brandon used to work for the A&M football team, the Texans, you name it. Brandon, tell us a little bit about Brazos Valley Floor and Design.
Yeah, like you said, family business. We started in 1999. It was in a small feed store, and about 4 years later, my dad decided he wanted to grow the business and kind of focus on that. So we're in the location we are at now, and we have a large showroom with salespeople with designer experience, a lot of stocking power, and we catered a lot to residential, builders, and we do a little commercial work as well.
Tell me about your other company as well, Premier Countertop Design.
Yeah, Premier Countertop Design is right there on site, so it's kind of a one-stop shop. People can come by, they can look at their slabs that they're going to cut, they're going to compare to their cabinet colors, their backsplash that they're going to do at our flooring store, and we have a lot of digital. We're doing a lot of digital stuff. We're templating, water jet, laser measuring, all different things like that.
So tell me a little bit about what sets you guys apart from the rest of the competition.
I think just being here in the community for 27 years in business, and our vendors that we have the relationships with, the pricing we can get because of how much we can buy in stock and things like that. And then as far as the countertop business, it's just the way we can be precise with what we do.
All right, there you have it, guys. Check out the website, bvflooranddesign.com and premiercountertopdesign.com. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. So I think we got some new music on the YouTube channel because there was a song that I hadn't heard before. And when it mixes with the zone, when both are playing at the same time, it's a little funky, little funky song.
Well,
yeah. Did you notice that?
Medina? I didn't.
Oh, it was interesting. Hey, kicking game.
Yeah.
I think last season it was in the would you put in the top 3 issues for the team?
If you want to, yes, I would.
Because big runs.
Big runs was a big issue. Negative parts of the season were the long runs, the failure to create turnovers.
Yep. And have turnovers at the end was definitely.
But if you're looking at the
full picture,
yeah,
the kicking game was in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. It was very erratic.
Yeah, erratic kicking game. Wasn't erratic this weekend, buddy.
No, in fact, that was something that I came away with thinking, hey, in a spring game, sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. Kicking game, I mean, that's pretty standard, right?
Right.
So David Lino goes in there, makes, I think, 39 and 33. Not huge long ones, huge long kicks, field goals, but give me a guy that's going to make those 40 yards in field goals. I'm going to feel pretty good about that because let's remember, A&M had trouble getting field goals blocked inside 30 yards, right?
Yes, they did.
And then if you want the long distance kick, Asher Murray came in and nailed one from 53 and kicked 2 other short ones.
28 and a 29er. Look, it'll look different during the regular season. I recognize that. But I'm glad it wasn't a talking point in the negative direction after the spring game, right? Like what you hope for, and tell me if I'm right here, what you hope for in a spring game is your first chance to see if they've been working on some of the mistakes, right? Like there were a couple of big runs, but I mean, also
I think only one over 20 yards though. I think
they had
and that was like the second play of the game.
That Morrow did have a 19-yarder as well, right? So Morrow looked great, by the way. We'll get to him in a second. But like you hope that, all right, first audition of the spring. What have they been working with? What have they tinkered with? Oh, they've tinkered with the kicking game. They got 2 guys, hopefully more than 2 guys, right? Mm-hmm. But they got a couple guys that can hit all their field goals, and even the 53-yarder, that would have been good from 60.
Yeah, he nailed that. Yeah, look, I'm ready to say it right now. I know I'm very conservative, especially about what I see in the spring game, because I've said it 100 times, you just really don't know. The kicking game's going to be better. They're not going to be last in the SEC in field goal percentage this year.
Yeah,
I just don't think. I feel secure in saying that the kicking game, specifically the field goal unit, will be dramatically upgraded.
Yeah, I agree with that. As for Jamari Morrow, he had a 23-yarder, he had a 14-yarder, a 19-yarder. He runs hard through the holes.
Yeah, last year he showed us some of the flash and dash, right? Remember that touchdown against LSU when I think it was him where I know he caught one on a screen pass.
Yeah,
and there was nobody there. But wasn't that him also that like spun off a tackler inside about the 5-yard line? Made a real.
I believe you're correct. Yeah.
So
on the right side of the field.
So you saw, we saw him have good hands. I think he had a touchdown pass, maybe against South Carolina, but anyway, maybe not. But somebody. Anyway, the point is, we saw this ability to hit for big plays, and he's going to be an elusive runner. But he's obviously added some bulk, some strength, and he ran with more power than I think you'd expect. I think I was a little surprised with the power element.
He does not look like, he's still a freshman, by the way. I mean, his freshman year's about to end, but he doesn't, like, he has put on some strength, some maturity. He looked
There's
fantastic.
Some muscle tone work in there. Yeah.
Reuben Owens, in limited work, I mean, he had some dazzle plays himself.
I think what I saw from Reuben, and hopefully it'll continue, was I saw him run harder.
Yeah.
Not saying he didn't run hard before. Again, same thing. I know that Reuben can have the long runs, the long bursts. We saw it twice against Missouri. We saw it in some other games too.
Yeah.
But what he showed was sometimes when there wasn't a hole there, he just kept grinding. He kind of reminded me of Le'Veon Moss at times.
He did.
Just moving the pile. And it might only have been a 3 or 4 yard run, but it should have been nothing or one.
I agree with that.
So, yeah, I'll take that. I like what I saw from Reuben Owens.
I also like what I saw from the quarterbacks. I'm going to call it the quarterback room. Marcel, I don't know if we saw that much, but I mean, I wasn't planning on evaluating Marcel. I know what I get with Marcel. I just need him to cut turnovers down, right? Yes, I want to see him connect some passes. There's things that we need to see in the regular season, but I don't think he was going to answer any questions for me today or Saturday.
Right.
He did exactly what he needed to do, got in and out, and I'm not going to, especially with the thing he does best is his ability to run.
Yeah.
Right. In a spring game setting, that's kind of neutralized.
Right.
However, are we going to talk Brady Hart for a second?
Yeah.
I mean, Brady Hart, buddy, came in and was throwing some darts.
He was. He made me think, okay, God forbid Marcel catches a cold and has to sit out. Made me think, okay, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right.
This Hart kid came in and was, he was throwing some dimes, as they say. And we talked about earlier the 25-yard completion to Ashton Bethel Roman.
Yep.
He was under a lot of pressure. Now, it's true.
It was a 4th and 13, right?
It was 4th and 13. There was a lot of pressure coming at him. And again, he can't get hit, and he knows that, but he kind of backed up and threw it, and he looked like some of those old Eli Manning passes where he just put it up there out of reach of everybody except his receiver, who comes over, and Ashton Bethel Roman made a great move, a great effort to get to it, and it was a huge play.
Yeah. And then Kasuga throws a pick six, and just a heck of a read from Noah McKell. But that ends the game with a game-winning touchdown pass.
Right, to Luke Braden.
Yep.
Tight end Luke Braden.
So I hope we don't have to see Helam Kasuga play this year. Like, I hope he gets time to develop. Like, unless it's because you're up 30-0.
Yeah, right.
Right. And for, I want Marcel to be a healthy season where he throws a bunch of touchdowns and limits his interceptions. But I enjoyed watching the youngsters play. And that's what the spring game does for me. A little glimpse of what it could be.
I think Mike Elko made a very astute point. Of course, he's the coach and he's Ivy League educated. So he was talking about last year, their offensive line gave up a lot of sacks, was credited or was blamed. Only 2. And he was saying, what that tells him is they have more depth. You can say, Cassius Howell isn't out there. Well, it wasn't Cassius Howell getting all those sacks last year. It was Marco Jones, who had 5.
Right.
He said they only gave up 2, and that's with your offensive line. Everybody kind of jumbled up a little bit. And he says that tells me we have more depth, more effective depth, 1 through 10.
Yeah.
But hey, how about Anto Saka?
I say it with a Spanish accent. Yeah. It just comes out that way. He had a sack. He looked good. I thought who the transfer that impressed
kid from Colorado?
Yeah,
whose name I don't even try to.
Tafik Bayard.
Tafik Bayard.
He just helped out in the run game.
Yeah,
he was effective there. He looked really good. Again, our first chance to see some of these guys came away. I don't know if impressed is the right way to. Pleased. I came away pleased.
I did too. I thought the tight ends looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought Houston Thomas was very effective. So I don't think in terms of performance, I saw anything that could have said, oh, man, this looks like a problem.
Right. And nothing that was like, oh my God, watch out. Like, I think they are where they need to be.
Yeah.
And that was the first question that was asked to the presser. I asked Elko, like, are you where you, and he always has like, I kind of know how he's going to answer.
Right.
But it's true. Like, he doesn't look at it as, hey, I need to be at this benchmark today, because how do you even quantify what a benchmark is when we're talking about how a football team looks like? But how he answered it, I probably should have cut this bite for us, was like, all right, after spring, I know what we need to work on, where we are, and then we take the next step. And I think that next step was good. By the way, another quarterback I wanted to bring up, Eli Morcos.
Like,
he had that strike to Will Hargett that I thought was
about
40
Will
yards.
Hargett.
Yeah, Will Hargett had a couple catches in the game.
He had the longest catch of the day, 41 yards.
Yeah.
Now, all those things were good, but unfortunately, they were overshadowed by the injury.
Yeah. So, however long it is, all of summer until the season, whatever, right? Whatever it is, it's an opportunity for these young players who haven't, taken a hold of that position, right, of the number 2 spot. Now you got Ray Coney and Noah McKell and Jordan Lockhart and a group of guys that, like, guys, it's real now.
Yeah.
Because not only was Damian Sanford one of your captains, he was one of your better defensive players, if not your best defensive player, right? That's not an easy thing to overcome. Now, you feel good about that room. I think Lockhart is ready for a big year. I think Noah McKell, I mean, obviously, the pick six is what we talked about, but he has developed nicely and played well at the end of the year, right? And Ray Coney, everything we've read and seen about him, seems like he could be a solid addition to this defense.
All those things are true. And who knows, maybe a young guy that we're not even talking about that emerges. But if, and we don't know, okay? If this is a injury that forces Damian Sanford to miss significant time, and hopefully it is not. He has 5 months to heal, and hopefully he will. But if it does, now you're holding your breath that you can't afford to lose another linebacker because he's your best linebacker. He's arguably the best player. Last year, he was second on the team in tackles for loss. Among returners, guys that returned this year, he was second in sacks, and I think he was like fourth overall in tackles.
Yeah.
And this was a guy that didn't start at the starting of the year, right?
Yep.
So we're talking about a guy that didn't start for the first 3 games and was fourth on the team in tackles. So there's no way to sugarcoat it. This could be a significant loss. I like what I see from Noah McKell. I'll be interested to see how they juggle it, you know. We've heard great things from Coney. And, Lyle Hemphill earlier this spring talked about how much better Jordan Lockhart has gotten. And I'm sure all those things are true and they're all positive, but you're still trying to replace the best guy that you had.
Yeah.
And that's going to be difficult to do, and especially if anybody else ever misses any time.
Let's do some superlatives on the other side. Best play of the game, whatever. We'll just kind of go through that. Right now, we're talking about the Daily Company in Texas. Your HVAC system isn't a luxury; it's a necessity. When you need service, it matters who you call, and I hope you call the Daily Company. They're in Bryan College Station, locally owned and operated, and they take real pride in serving the community. Their HVAC department does provide comprehensive service, including repair, maintenance, and full system installation. So whether your AC stops working in the middle of the summer or your heater needs attention before a cold snap, their licensed technicians are going to take great care of you. They offer HVAC emergency repair because they know breakdowns never happen at a convenient time, and their team works with all the top brands from Lennox to Trane to Goodman to Rheem to Honeywell to Daikin to Amana, you name it. They'll take care of it. At Daily Company, they stand behind their work and treat every home like it's their own. Contact the Daily Company today. 979-260-2020. That's 979-260-2020. Stay comfortable year-round with a local team that you can trust. GoDaily.com and experience the daily difference. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. OB.
Yes, sir.
Offensive MVP of the spring game.
Offensive MVP.
Wow, that could have been very loud on radio.
Kasuga.
Okay.
That was
I'll
a
accept
touchdown pass that wins the game.
I'll accept it.
I mean, I thought.
I think Morrow for me would have been my pick, but I think either one is fine. Brady Hart looked great, right?
Yeah.
Defensive MVP.
Noah McHale with the only
six.
touchdown.
Or Anto Saka.
Saka played really well. I thought there was a lot of guys that played well.
Yeah.
Nobody just. Sometimes we've been at games when one guy just.
Last year, Marco Jones.
Right. One guy you come away going, man, that guy. And then sometimes you don't hear from him.
Right.
Not the case last year necessarily, but I don't think it was that.
Best play.
To me, I'm sure you're going to have a different one, but to me, the best play that looked like you would see it in a regular game and go crazy was the Brady Hart pass to Ashton Bethel Roman.
Okay. That one? Or you could say the one to Zay Horton on the side, 33 yards. Or I like this because there's options. Or Noah McHale's pick six.
That was nice. Very well read.
Or Helamon's game winner.
Yeah.
Those are all really good plays. The biggest bright spot.
To me, okay, I'm sorry, it's the kicking game.
Yeah.
Last year, Dave and I being in a press box, and those guys were great guys, I'm sure. I know one of them was a great guy. And they'd come out to kick a field goal, and I'm like, roll the dice.
You don't know.
And
now
now look, Randy Bond was huge against Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was.
But every time they went to kick a field goal, you're like, I've got to hold my breath. But what they did in the kicking game was, to me,
got to drop it there.
Excellent.
Coming up, Michael Earley. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Full hour of college baseball talk. We got Michael Earley in
That's
studio.
a veiled shot.
No shade. And Ryan Brauninger here.
I was on
program.
him last week because I said that they didn't talk enough about college baseball. I was really trying to promote my other show, saying that, it's going to be unapologetically a college baseball show during the year. And I was like, you guys, you have other stuff to get to, so y'all just didn't get to. So he went back and calculated how many hours he talked about college baseball last week. And then he and Liucci just threw me right under the bus on Friday.
So it's not an hour.
No.
We did 19 of our 60 segments on college baseball last week. But anyway, should have been 20, but we had a cancellation.
Right.
Anyway, I want to talk about this past weekend. The first sweep since 1978. I think you said you weren't born yet when that happened.
-10.
Yeah, I was 2. So thanks very much for the reminder. But just another great weekend for the belief of this team as you guys move forward.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, that's a tough environment, tough team to play. I mean, some of the best just overall collection of pitching talent I think I've seen since I've been in the SEC, talking about them. And, it's always tough to play on the road. Like, it's just different. You traveled, hotels, everything. You don't get a hit the same. And our guys, I thought, were very mature. I thought we played complimentary baseball. I thought we pitched it really well, played great defense. We just played solid baseball and did what we had to do to win the game.
Was there ever a moment where you, like maybe going into the weekend, I know you probably feel good about your team all the time, but like you just, that's a big environment and you are playing some freshmen and I know you don't view them as that, but there had to have been a moment Friday, you're like, all right, I like where we're at going into this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I trust those guys. And we talked about it even before the series, and it was like, the whole message was like, from the Texas weekend is like, put yourself in their shoes. How would you have handled it? Noise is noise, silence is silence. It literally means nothing. And I think there was a moment Friday where they kind of got going, and the place got pretty loud, and our guys just completely just noise. It literally means nothing. So I think Calling Baton Rouge is a great song. So just enjoy the song and keep playing ball.
And then your starting pitching was a big reason for it allowed your offense to get a foothold in the game, and they obviously took off. But I thought Shane, Aiden, and Weston gave you exactly what you needed.
They all did a great job. I mean, they're competitive in the zone. Didn't really make too many mistakes. There was damage control. I think Sims gave up a homer. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. But overall, they did great. They did great. Competitive starts gave our offense a chance to get going, and I still think you're starting to see a couple of them like they're getting better and better. And I think they're one of them. I think or both at the same time is due to have just like one of those games.
Coach Earley, I want to go back to the comment you made about freshmen, and just at what point does a athlete or a player in your eyes go from being a freshman to this is just one of the guys? Like, can you see it directly in their development throughout the season? All right, they've graduated from just being a freshman to this is a key contributor, even though your freshmen have all been key contributors.
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of got lost when he was fixing my mic. Sorry about that. But
okay.
Just speaking about the freshmen.
Yeah, just like, is there a point in their evolution where you're like, all right, they've graduated from just being first time through the SEC, like they're in it?
I think it's once you get like a series in,
okay,
and they realize like this is a buzzsaw and it's coming at you every weekend, right? You go to Oklahoma, it's back and forth on Friday, you lose, and you're just, damn. You come back the next day, and it's back and forth, and you win. And then you come back the next day, you back and forth, and you lose. And, like, guess what? This is how it always is. I think that first one really, really helps. You can't. It was great to have an opening one like that on the road, I think, for a lot of those guys. I think once you do it once, you realize, okay, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. And then, you come in Georgia, smacks you twice, and then you get a win. And it's just like it is nonstop. So I think once the SEC starts, you get a really good taste of what it's going to be and how they're going to react. And those guys have done a great job.
One of the bigger stories of the weekend was Chris Akopian, just his production, but also getting hit in the face with the fastball. When he went back into the dugout, was he trying to go back in the game, or did you know pretty quickly because of the blood that you had to make a move?
No, I mean, we were so there's a rule if you get hit in the head, you can check for concussion. So we just put Chestnut in, and then if we got Akopian back right, number one, didn't have a concussion, and his lip stopped bleeding. I say lip lightly, like it was pretty bad. He could have went back in the game, but we just decided to keep him out. I mean, he wanted to play, but it just wasn't.
And then on Saturday, like how quickly did you know that he was going to be okay?
when I saw him in the morning, actually when I saw him after the game, I told him I apologized to him Saturday because I was like wanting him to go back in Friday a little bit and kind of pushing him on it before I didn't mean to be insensitive to him. I just think so highly of his toughness. I'm like, oh, it's Chris. He's fine. Right? He did get hit in the face with 94. He was like, no, you're good. Like, but I knew he would play as long as there's nothing like medically that could keep him out. I actually, like, everyone's like, is Chris going to play? And I felt pretty comfortable that he was, just because if you knew this guy, just it's real toughness, and he's not scared.
We've seen Jorian continue to take this, arrow pointing up trajectory, 2 homers backside, and then he has the just probably don't do it again, barehanded play in right center field, like in this rocket, and Berkey and Kyle Peterson went nuts over it. But what is his next progression? Because there's still some swing and miss in there and some swing and miss in zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at-bats, and you're going to get some of that, and you get some of that with a lot of guys, especially when you're facing good pitching. I think he had some really productive at-bats. He had one against, I think it was Schmidt on Saturday, where he got him to 3-2 and got him on the breaker after he laid off one earlier in the count. We were talking about it, like, don't make the count bigger than it is. And then he comes up the next time, he throws the same pitch, 3-2, takes it and walks. So showing little things like that. The backside single through the shift. It's just about I think when he stays on baseballs the other way, he's really good. And sometimes he gets that appearance pitch where it looks like it's coming back in and it doesn't, and he tries to pull off just like every hitter. So I think he's done an excellent job. I think the at-bats are getting better. I think he's going to continue to improve. I mean, he can change the game, right? Yeah. Defensively, offensively.
And we could go through every hitter in the order and talk about their weekend and what they've done so far in SEC play. And you could talk, you could go on and on about them. But one guy that I think is really underappreciated because he hasn't been getting a bunch of hits is Boston Counter.
Yeah.
Now, he had some really good at-bats yesterday. Backside single after the one of the homers? He had a rocket. It stayed up. It was after Bears.
They caught it.
Yeah, after Bears homer. That was on Saturday. And then he had a ball yesterday that just gets up in that wind, and it was going to be a no-doubter to left center.
Yeah.
It looks like he is so competitive. Like, do you have to fight him on trying not to get hits?
No, not at all. He controls the zone and has about as good as approach, if not better than anyone, if you just look at it. I think the walk totals, I think the swing decisions. When it's a strike, he likes to swing when it's his pitch. So you'll see times where I think he swung first pitch like 2 at-bats in a row. Both great pitches that he can hammer. Then he'll go on stretches where he'll go games where he doesn't swing at the first pitch. So he's doing exactly what we want him to. He's not hunting hits. He's just hunting his pitch and quality at bats. And I could see how you could see that, but he's because of the competitiveness. But his competitiveness is channeled in the right way, where he's just trying to get on base.
That's what I thought. I mean, he doesn't overswing. He doesn't go out of zone. It's just like you can see in his face sometimes that like he wants to be a part of what the team is doing, and he's so mature that he can just kind of level it out when he gets in the box.
Yeah, he's good. He's not scared, right? Like to be in our offense and play our style of play, you got to be bought into what we're doing, but also not scared of what the coach thinks. It's like there's nothing worse to me than a first pitch lazy out. That doesn't just mean you go in and take it, though. Like if you have the conviction to swing. I don't care. I don't care if you have 4 at-bats and you see 4 pitches and there are 4 pitches you can hammer. Just have conviction and hit it hard, right? Mm-hmm. And he's great at that. Like he's just playing ball, and like a lot of them are. So he's really impressive. I mean, that play he made yesterday in the ninth, like that was
I like the one where he just let it hit him.
Yeah, that field was a little rough. So that's our short yardage back right there. That field was a little. That was a really.
Oh, it's the worst surface in the league. You can't say that, but I can.
It was different than ours. So yeah, I mean, he'll take one in the teeth and throw it over there.
I want to go back to pitching for a moment. In Weston, hadn't pitched, 16 days, I think it was. And the last week thinking he's going to pitch a couple different times, doesn't get the opportunity, and then just comes out and just does a fantastic job. What does it say about him to have that patience and then save a great performance?
Yeah, I think it was, part of not playing that day was he got a little bit of a mid-season break, right? And we were able to throw a bullpen against hitters on Monday and really work on stuff and got a little extra rest, which you don't always get. Right. So I think that was a big part of it. And just he's been back and forth, right? And if he can just be consistent like he was, like that's all we need him to do. I think he can get a little further. I think there's a couple ABs. The fastball got away from him, kind of uncompetitively walked some guys. If we can get through that, he really limited damage, and his stuff really, really plays. So I was very happy with him. I mean, I love when he's out there and he's getting it going. He's just got to kind of stay here, and I think he can get a little longer in the game.
Gavin Lyons has been a huge story in your season so far, and it's just like he doesn't even need a pitch comp. It's fastballs. Like it's 89 to 92, and it's been up to 94. But these guys aren't having comfortable swings off of it. I know it presents very funny, but like there's, to me, more conviction behind it now.
I think the conviction's everything, right? And it really is a unique slot and unique fastball profile. Like not a lot of guys in the game can do it. And what I mean is like the slot it comes from and how much he extends and how it's actually going this way, or sometimes it goes this way and sometimes it goes this way. That's tough as a hitter. So he's throwing a lot of fastballs, but they're not all, they'll present differently. So it's like one pitch is actually like a few. But I think conviction and his confidence level is exactly
what did he tell you? He's
trending up. Trending up.
He's right.
And I guess he's right, yeah, because I was ready for that one. But he's great, man. He's really, you want to give him the ball and you feel really good about it.
Is there another level to Aiden Sims? Because he started off so great. You even said he had the stuff to be a Friday night starter before the season, right? Like, is there another level this year?
Yeah, I think if he can command the fastball better as the game gets going on, I think there's another level. And everyone can see that, right? He's just kind of sometimes later in the game, he's lost a little bit of the fastball command, which good thing for him. He has like 13 other pitches and they just pick one of those to throw in the zone. But I think that part can get him there. And I think he'll get there. It's just him getting used to this workload. And but he's incredible. Like he's just done a phenomenal job. Like he keeps guys so off balance. And I always try to look at it from my perspective. He'd be really difficult to prepare for. Any pitch, any count. This way, that way, that way, that way. It's just you try to eliminate certain things, right? You try to bucket it so you can go, and he just pitches like this, right? And it's just, that's tough. Oh, he also fills strikes. He's competitive, and he works with good pace, and guys like playing behind him.
And you've known Gavin Grahovic a long time, probably since he was in middle school.
Yeah.
To see what he has turned into, and just the complete selflessness of throwing your ego aside, doing what the team's best, going to the across the diamond, and really playing at least defense. I'd make the argue all around, but at least playing defense at an All-American level. But he is so important to this club because you go back to August and September when you were trying to just kind of reboot everything, and he was the guy that was at the front of the line helping you do that to the club. How cool is it now that this relationship you've had with Gavin will go on for forever, but to see where he was from conversation one as a ninth grader to where he is now.
Eighth grader. Not ashamed to say it.
That was back when you could.
Back when you could. I'm just super proud of him. I mean, what he went through, I think if you just assumed, not you, but if you're just a casual fan, you just assumed Gavin would be back and back to his old ways, like, you know, he had to go through a lot to get to this point. Like, physically, yes, but mentally, like, that's tough when you miss a whole year and you have to sit and watch. I don't think people quite understand that when you get pulled out of a sport, especially one like this that's so, at-bats are so important and repetition is so important. Like, it's not like football, right? Like, I'm guessing it's harder than I make it sound, but like when you miss at-bats, that's really, really tough. So he's worked incredibly hard, incredibly smart. A lot of ups and downs in the fall, like a ton, but he always was just mentally great. Awesome. Worked every single day, communicated really well, and yeah, he's been great. I mean, defensively, he's been awesome. I mean, he changed the game the other day. And yeah, he's third baseman. He's going to play third base in professional baseball. He'll probably get drafted, and they'll probably say Gavin Grahovic, third baseman. But for right now, he's doing a hell of a job for us at first.
Coach Earley, at least for me to close out, we originally started with the freshmen and that awakening when you go to Oklahoma, right? That continues for this team the rest of the way. You've got Gainesville, you've got Auburn coming up. So just talk a little bit about that mindset, you know, that has gotten you here, finishing it out.
Yeah, we've really tried to just prepare them that it's just nonstop. Like it's so, the league and the schedule is so unforgiving, and you have to embrace it.
It starts tomorrow night, man.
Yeah, and yeah, like
UTSA is going to come in here wanting to win, and they're really good.
For sure, and they're really good. So it's everything, especially you got to play good baseball. If you play good baseball, you're a good baseball team. If you play inconsistent baseball, you're inconsistent. If you play bad, you're bad, period. Doesn't matter who you play. Now, you can have moments, right? But do you get back on track? It's about not reacting and being prepared. And when things go bad, you just sink to the level of your preparation, period. Nothing more than that. So it's tough. It's a grind, but it's fun. Like we're having a blast. And it's not just because we're playing well. Like I think that's so easy to say, but I feel like we just have a group of guys. And again, it's awesome leadership at the top. And then the bottom, meaning the freshmen who are not the bottom, are just unique makeup-wise that you got a really good blend of good players and just toughness. I mean, I think Gavin coming back from what he's come back, you got a guy that wears 94 off the face who has to play the next day with a mouthpiece. Like, that's a tough team, and you got some dudes that really, really care. So, I mean, it's been a blast to be around, but we got a long way to go. Like this. We got a tough game tomorrow, and we got a tough weekend. So it's just like when you're playing bad, you got to win, right? Yeah. And then when you're playing good, you're like, oh,
keep it going.
Keep it going, right? The feelings are the same. It's just different situations.
Desperate to win, no matter what.
Just completely, yeah. I mean, I was great until we landed yesterday, and then I'm back to being miserable thinking about the next game.
Coach, I appreciate it. Thanks,
you, guys.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more with Brauninger here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Wow.
And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. More with Bronny. After that, we'll have Boomer White on the program. Bronny, I don't remember, and I'm not as eloquent as you when it comes to baseball, how you phrased it on Friday. But you talked about this series being an interesting one for Jorian based on the kind of pitching that LSU was going to do. And I believe you said he's somebody to watch this weekend. Could be positive, could be negative, but I think you were more on the positive side of what he might be able to do.
Well, it was a couple of reasons, because it was the first time Jorian had gone into an atmosphere like that.
Yep.
Okay, and he's had incredible success so far this season. Most of it has been at Bluebell Park, and then he had series that I don't even know that he played in Oklahoma. If he did, he didn't play very much, but then his away series was at Missouri. So very different circumstances for Jorian going in. And I was interested because they had right-handed starters, but they had right-handed starters on Friday and Sunday that had good put-away pitches for left-handers. Kason Evans had the splitter, and then Zach Cowan yesterday had the changeup. So just interested to see how Jorian handled some of the, he does better against right-handed pitching, but they had stuff that could give him problems. And obviously he stays on both of those balls on Friday night, and that was Friday night. If you're not a college baseball fan and you're a casual across the SEC, Friday night is whenever you found out who Jorian Wilson was. We've been talking about him for a long time, but he's no longer a secret around this league, and he's playing at a freshman All-American level in half the starts that a lot of these other guys across the country are going to get. And I was listening to the Ole Miss-Tennessee game on Sunday yesterday before A&M got started, and they were talking about Tennessee's right fielder Reese Chapman being perhaps the best right fielder in the SEC. And then you go look at his numbers, he's hitting like 284 with 5 homers. And I'm like, this kid is hitting 315 with 9 homers in half the starts.
Half the starts, yeah.
And he's clearly still learning. He's going to get better still. And it's so cool for Jorian because what we said with Jorian before the season started was, if this kid gets into games and he starts believing this is where he's supposed to be and that he can do it here, look out. It unlocks another ceiling for this offense. It's exactly how it's gone. And you have to give Michael Earley and Cliff Pennington credit for how they've brought him along. Who knows if he would have had this success from opening day, if you'd have just thrown him out there from right field and say, hey, kid, figure it out. That's not always the best way to go about it, especially a kid that is this inexperienced. That can really mess with his confidence. So they had to kind of play the game of how much do you feed him at one time? You just kind of spoon feed him, and then they've just thrown him into the grease now. And I agree, now he is your starter in right field. Right-handers, left-handers, it doesn't matter. At this point, you throw the kid in there because he unlocks another level to the bottom half of that order, which has been great. But the ceiling of this club offensively can only be reached now with Jorian Wilson in the lineup. Whereas you probably could have said that on opening day, but it was a much bigger risk involved.
Sure.
Right now, he has mitigated the risk because he's starting to believe this. I'm not out of place here. In fact, I can really do it at this level. And he had a couple of big swings against Texas. Then he goes on the road on Friday night under the lights at Alex Box, and 2 backside homers, both of which are no doubters. No doubters. And the play he makes on Saturday where he bare hands the ball, don't advise that. That's a really low percentage play. But he doesn't do that if he's not really confident in where he's at right now.
I agree with
and
that.
He just bare hands it and no problem throws a strike, a 200-foot strike right to the chest of Boston Kellner, and Kyle Peterson and Chris Burke just lose it. Because those guys are around ballparks every day of the year. They've been around tons and tons of baseball. They've seen it all. And for them to react that way should tell you a lot about what they're seeing with Jorian. And this is something that A&M saw from day one in the fall, and they went, all right, we have something different here. How do we make sure that different doesn't become unproductive? Different becomes ceiling-reaching type of talent.
I'm going to try to get KP or Chris on the show this week. So I know there's a lot of baseball this season to be played, but if the season ended today, okay, it's not going to end today, but if it ended today, you think Coach Earley gets Coach of the Year in the SEC?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was actually texting with some Major League scouts about that. It's pretty incredible. Baseball's a funny game that, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, a lot of people wearing maroon and white, a lot of people that were
3
in
weeks
Bluebell
ago
Park were ready to run him out of town.
Yep.
And it's clearly different, man. And like we said that from September, like it's different. That doesn't mean that it's going to result in wins, but he is addressing the problems both with himself and with his ball club. And one of the best things that he's ever said in any media availability, I think it may have been on this show, or I think it might have been with Monaco. Regardless, he said, if I could change last year,
it was here.
If I could change last year for the fans and the players, I 1,000% would. But I wouldn't change a thing about it for me personally. And look what he's turned into.
Yep.
That has been a very forward, that was a very wise statement going back and looking at it now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly different, man. And he's recruited Boston Counter and Jorian Wilson and Nico Partita and Luke Billings and Hunter Vincent and Cole Hubert, these guys that have had their fingerprints to varying degrees on this season so far. Those are his guys. And he's got more coming in this class. Now, they got to deal with the draft. And oh, by the way, the kids that got to campus and then got drafted and left are crushing it in minor league ball. You could have had an even bigger impact from your freshman class had some of those guys gotten to campus. So they're doing a great job with evaluations. They're doing a great job with recruiting. They have done all this with one hand tied behind their back because of the facility. That's getting corrected. So you don't want to look ahead because you want to make sure that you're enjoying what's happening in front of you. But you look ahead, like the future of this program, they're going to make there'll be a lot of new faces next year. But who's going to be leading the line next year? Boston Counter, Nico Partita. Like those kids, you look at both of them, you're like, okay, there's the future of your program.
Yep.
Start building around those guys like you did around, Gavin and Sorrell.
Before I let you go, what's different with the starters the last few weeks?
Yeah, I don't know that it's, I think some pitch usage stuff has changed. Aiden Sims has been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But for Sadeo, I think it's just implementing more of the true curveball, and then just getting some sort of wiggle to the arm side on the fastball. Weston Moss's outing yesterday, he should take a lot of confidence from it. But there was the baseball luck that wasn't happening for anybody on the A&M staff, on the starting staff. It happened yesterday for him. LSU hit some balls hard.
Yeah.
In a north wind, they were caught, or they were line drives right at people. One of them turned into a double play. That inning that ended with the Hakopian to Grohovic line drive double play was started on a line drive right at Nico Partita, who was shifted. So there is some baseball luck to his outing yesterday, whereas he probably, in terms of contact quality, has had better outings than he did yesterday, but he just didn't have the luck on his side. Baseball's funny, man. Like, it's fickle, and it is not like we always say stats are for people that don't go to the games. So people will look at yesterday's number like, man, Weston was so much better. He was fine, and he should be very happy with that performance. But I think I've actually seen his stuff a little sharper.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen some more, I've seen him just be, in terms of his output, the numbers aren't as good, but I thought the pitches were good. He was getting like jam shot single or ground ball that just finds a hole. He was getting a bunch of that. And yesterday the balls were right at him.
What I've said several times on this show is that the pitching staff just needs to be good-ish. We don't need them to be.
Yeah, because we've gone this whole segment and not said one thing about the offense.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, if the wind wasn't blowing in yesterday, it's another double-digit output. Even against an LSU bullpen, I was talking to Coach Earley in the lobby. That is the most impressive bullpen I can remember. I mean, they're all horses. They're just running as a stable of arms that are all 95 to 100 miles an hour. I don't get how I guess they don't throw enough strikes, but man, it is big stuff. Devin Sheeran that pitched yesterday, he is going to pitch in the major leagues. And he has pitched himself into a first-round draft pick this year. It's big time. That was one of the most elite fastballs I've seen in watching SEC baseball all season. But this offense, man, like we compared it to 2022. I love those guys in 2022. Rock, Boast, Moss, Werner. Those are great dudes. Claunch. This offense is light years better than that. This offense is more comparable numbers-wise to 89 and 24. That's what we're talking about here. But I think everybody's still hesitant to put them in that category, and with good reason. Florida, elite pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be just like LSU, but with the starters. Aiden King, Liam Peterson. Florida's really good. Auburn, the best pitching numbers in the league. Like better than Florida, better than Texas. And then you've got Ole Miss, who is an elite starting rotation. And Mississippi State's probably the worst of the four, but they're still really good.
Yeah.
Like you have the next three pitching staffs you're going to see are all probably top 10 in the country. Like they've still got a ton of hurdles to climb. But up to this point, this offense has been, I think, splitting hairs between A&M and Georgia, best in the league.
Thank you, Bronny. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21, and Caldwell online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Small business owners, listen up. Caldwell Country Chevrolet is your business elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Whether you're service body truck or you're looking for that, or you're looking for flatbeds or medium-duty trucks, they've got the inventory and the expertise to outfit your entire operation. They understand what it takes to run a business because they're locally owned and they're operated right there in Caldwell. Their team knows commercial vehicles inside and out, and they're ready to help you find the right equipment to get the job done for whatever your need is. Come see why local contractors and businesses trust Caldwell Country Chevrolet, just like all normal people in the Brazos Valley. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. A little more college baseball talk. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Boomer White here to join us and break it all down. Boomer, good morning, buddy. How you been?
Good morning, David. I'm good. I'm really good after this past weekend. That was a great showing by our team down in Baton Rouge.
Well, you know what it's like to play there. It's a crazy environment. What do you take? What are your takeaways from the sweep and the way they've been playing recently?
Well, actually, believe it or not, I had never played at Alex Box.
Never.
The one year I was, in Aggie land, we hosted LSU. So that there's a couple spots I never got to in conference. That's one of them that I wish I would have gotten to experience in person. But I don't really think I need to experience to understand the difficulty and the challenges that it poses on teams when they go into Baton Rouge there. And I think it speaks for itself when you hear the stats. I think it's been, I thought I heard 15 years or maybe longer since someone's gone into there and swept them. Maybe I'm off. I think it was Ole Miss, or that they mentioned that at some point. But it doesn't really matter what kind of season LSU's having. When you go into there and with the talent that they have, you can see from their arms that they have plethora of lightning bolt arms coming out of there, and obviously coming off a national championship win. When you go into there and do what you just did, I think it speaks volumes about the team, and I think it really shows us where, the maturity of our baseball team after a big Texas series win or sweep, whatever you want to call it, and to go into there and do that, hopefully shows me that they aren't settling, they aren't content, they don't feel like they've made it, that they still have their foot on the gas pedal, because I seriously think that's what it's going to take to finish out this season and potentially get a national seed.
Boomer, what's different about this team? Like, you've watched them the last few years, about this particular unit. Is it just the health? Is it the way Coach Earley is managing? What do you feel like is the biggest difference that you're seeing on the field?
Well, I would say that just in the last 3 or 4 weeks, you're looking at a different team. I thought the opening weekend, I thought I was seeing maybe the best collection of bats that I've ever seen in Aggie land. And I think that within 3 or 4 weeks, I was starting to doubt that. And so I think hopefully we're seeing that same kind of product come back on the field to stay. And to me, to answer your question, I think it's the depth offensively and the approach. And those 3 guys in the booth all weekend did a great job of describing how well and mature our offense approach is, how good and mature it is as far as, hey, you take the balls, you got a lot of walks, you don't chase, you're not striking out a lot, so you take your free passes, you don't strike out a ton, and then obviously the offensive production numbers are through the roof, and it's just relentless pressure on you 1 through 9. And so to me, it's just when you compile all of that together and you have so much depth offensively, then it's just it becomes unbearable. It doesn't really matter how good your arms are. Over time, you end up strangling them and coming out the other side. And I think that's what we've seen the last 3 or 4 weekends. It's just the approach from Coach Earley since he's taken over the offense has really started to come to fruition, along with just the depth and talent. So yeah, I would say approach and talent is second to none in this country.
And I think pitching, I mean, Bronny talked a little bit about sometimes, the good luck in baseball happens, sometimes the bad luck in baseball happens, but Weston Moss, after not pitching for a while, comes in and he gives you exactly what you need. When you've got that kind of offense, if you get pretty good pitching, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, you sure are. And I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb when I say our bullpen isn't the deepest in the country. But I think that the freedom that a bullpen and a starter can pitch with when you know you have that offensive support certainly is impacted drastically when the offense is going how it is right now. And so I think that allows you to not necessarily pitch to hang a 0 or just a 1, but just to give quality outings and have quality innings because you know you're going to be backed up by your offense, which I think we're seeing right now. And so, yeah, you have your 3 or 4 arms you're going to lean on out of the pen, but the starters had a great weekend. Weston Moss had a great weekend or a great start, maybe his best of the season given the time. And I think that hopefully you're going to see some pressure relief from these arms and not have to go, throw 5 shutout, but really just, keep them to 2, 3, or 4, knowing that your offense has been there all season and is going to be there for you now. And I think that'll allow our pitching to step up in the big moments.
Boomer, Jorian Wilson just on a heater, and I think this is just something we're going to get used to seeing. What have you seen from the young freshman now that he is getting very comfortable being an everyday guy?
Man, he's such a treat to watch. First and foremost, he is powerful. He is mature. I think his swing and his load and everything about it is mature. It's very lasting. I think it's a big league frame. It's a big league swing. I can't say enough good things about him from what I'm seeing from him at the plate. There will be his strikeouts. There will be hat tricks here and there. And that's just kind of what comes with the territory of being young and powerful and having that kind of swing. But, oh my goodness, he's got a cannon, as everyone saw in right field. But I think that his ability to hit off speed out the other way is just sets him up for so much success with his swing that everything else will take care of itself if he stays within himself. I mean, he's got I would argue he's got the most power maybe of anyone in the country as a freshman. He's only going to get stronger and more mature and see the ball better as he gets older. So the approach is there at an early age, and his power and his ability to hit to all parks and hit all pitches is extremely rare and extremely fun to watch. I think you got to keep him in the lineup for, until, I don't know. I don't see how he's taken out of the lineup at this point. To me, he was given an opportunity, took the bull by the horns, and he's certainly must watch when he comes to the plate.
No doubt about that. Chris Hakopian takes the 95 mile per hour fastball to the face, leaves Friday, comes back, gets the double on Saturday, and then the homer yesterday. And we knew what this guy could be. It took a little while, but he's starting to play the way we expected him to play.
Yeah, this was a good bounce back series for Chris. Really think so. I think that where Chris is going to get going the wrong direction is that flat bat that plane he has when he swings. He's going to get going with ground balls when he gets on his front foot, and we were seeing that. He was a lot of 6-3 ground outs for a couple of weeks there. He likes to use all field. He doesn't strike out much. He just needs to be on time and not miss the pitch, because when he's on time, he'll hit the ball to right, he'll hit the ball to left, he'll elevate it when he gets out in front of it, he'll hit one back up the middle, and he's not an easy strikeout at all. So he could certainly do it all at the plate. He just needs to get back on time and get his rhythm in place. And I think this weekend is going to lead to bigger weekends to come. And when he's going, we really haven't seen all three bats, the top three bats in the lineup, go at the same time. If Gavin and Caden can stay going and Chris heat up even more, I mean, I don't know how this isn't the best offense in America.
Well, another busy week. I mean, they're all busy in the SEC, but UTSA tomorrow and then on the road to Gainesville. Just some thoughts about the schedule never letting up.
Well, it doesn't, especially in the SEC. And you could say teams are kind of going good or going bad, or they're having a good season or a bad season, but the talent is always the best in the country. And so you know that you're going to see good arms. Texas and LSU are great examples of that. Their stuff is incredible. You know you're seeing guys who have had success at other schools or who are big recruits out of high school. So you really can't go in there thinking that someone's record or how good you're playing is really going to matter on a week-to-week basis. So it never lets up. That's a big-time pedigree with Coach O'Sullivan over there and that whole staff. So it doesn't ever let up. Gainesville's not an easy place to play, but I think that it's going to be up to the maturity of our team to show that they're not satisfied with these past 2 weekends and keep the foot on the gas, like I said, because you're going to look back, every single one of these games matter. You don't really realize it now. You look back at the end of the season and you say, man, just 1 or 2 more would have changed a lot. So it'll tell me a lot about them once again, how they go into Gainesville and just play quality baseball.
Great stuff. I appreciate you, Boomer. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you, David. Have a good one.
You too. Boomer White here on TexAgs Live. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back and find out what's popping on TexAgs today. And then the 10 o'clock hour, Billy Liucci. I want to talk to you about Heritage Films. They're preserving family stories that would otherwise be lost. My buddy Chance McClain isn't just making documentaries. He's basically capturing your story and telling it for the future generations. He's done a great job with that. It could be your grandfather's struggles, your dad's journey, your mother's story, whatever it may be, your family's entire legacy in a professional cinematic experience for the future generations to really know so much about what your family's all about. He's traveled the nation and he's done stories all over the place, but he loves telling Aggie stories because to Aggies, our stories are very, very important. Trust me, you'll regret it if you don't reach out to Chance and his team. Call him up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or visit yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com. Y estamos aquí. We're here, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Schuler's Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Haley Dorsey, do you have anything you want to tell us that people can find on TexAgs today?
Yes, well, a reminder, if you haven't already, it's a great time to become a TexAgs Premium subscriber for full access to content on TexAgs. Visit texags.com/subscribe to sign up. Today on TexAgs, we have the 2026 Transfer Portal Tracker with Luke Evangelist. A lot of recruiting insight from Jason Howell, Mike Elko post Maroon and White game press conference, sights and sounds from the Maroon and White game, post game review, and then we have softball and baseball recaps from both the sweeps against Mississippi State and LSU. We have a Take 5 interview with Nico Partita, Jordan Lockhart, Richie Anderson, Mike O'Reilly, Luke Billings, and Kendall Stowers. And we have a D1 Baseball Top 10 story. And then later today, we have Bronny's Baseball Thoughts presented by Bach Realty and more recruiting insight from Jason Hallam.
Great stuff, Dorsey. I know we've probably got some messages on the YouTube page. I feel like today it has been all about college baseball, right? There's been a lot about Aggie baseball. And by the way, it should be that way. That they've earned it. Coach Earley has done such a phenomenal job. This team is stepping up. I am not looking too far ahead. I just put your head down and take care of business, one step at a time. Hopefully they take care of business tomorrow against UTSA, and then obviously the trip to Gainesville, which I know is going to be hard. What do you have for us there? What comments can we get to?
Well, someone said Dermdoc.
Dermdoc,
I have,
who went to Baton Rouge this weekend.
Yes, he said, I have been to the box a ton of times. That was the most docile LSU crowd I've ever seen or heard, even on Friday night.
You know, it's interesting, guys, how people, and Nick, you can pipe in on here, how people, like, I know why they do it. I get it. Like, that's all they have. But, like, A&M has success. We enjoy said success. And they go straight to, well, you've never won a national championship. Neither have you, loser. You're not on the team.
Strikeout, loser.
Yeah, I saw somebody put that on the boards the other day. Strikeout, loser. I haven't won a national championship either. Now, I do understand we all take credit for what our university does. I'm kind of kidding here. I recognize that. But, like, yes, I have not experienced a national championship in the big three sports at Texas A&M in my lifetime. Okay? I haven't. Doesn't escape the fact that this weekend, A&M swept LSU. Doesn't.
I guess we should stop going to all the games until it happens, and then we can all go back.
We're not allowed to enjoy until X happens. That's not how I operate. Life is too short. I'm enjoying this week. And guess what? When they lose, I get very mad too. Like, both things can be true, right? Like, you lose a game to your rival, it sucks, and, they get scoreboard. You beat your rival, they don't want you to have scoreboard. They want to just tell you about their scoreboard from 1944.
Well, they're doing that this year because they literally do not have a scoreboard. I guess women's basketball.
Women's basketball is great. That is an awesome athletic program. But A&M had more success than them against them head-to-head this year. Those are the facts. And then people, like, when teams struggle, they go after, like, poor Matt Moscona. My God, people have been coming after Matt Moscona like he had anything to do with LSU baseball losing.
That's what it was like when Coach Fisher was here and us.
I know, right? It was, Nuño, it's your fault, Appalachian State. Strike out, you loser. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Here's an idea. Derm Doc on YouTube. Nick, tell me what you think about this, Haley. He goes, I can report from Gainesville. I think that's a fabulous idea for the B team. We could have Derm on the B team, and he can do some reports.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Send him a Zoom link.
Derm, we love you. Cade Bickham is the producer on that one, so I'll have you get in touch with him. But that as the director of broadcast media and content, good idea, Derm. We love you, Derm. I forget who told me they met you. Somebody told me they met you this weekend. I saw a tweet about it or something on the message board. So you're a legend, Derm. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Dorsey, do you have anything?
I also wanted to acknowledge DW and I know we talked a lot about college baseball, but there was also some things about the spring football game, and he said career rise about why am I blanking?
Pardon?
Sorry, why am I blanking?
Do you not have those?
Damian Sanford.
Oh, Damian Sanford. Okay, you're talking about the injury. Okay.
Yes, the injury. He will be fine. In worst case, he gets a red shirt and is captain and leader again next year, and Noah McHale takes off in his place.
Yeah, let me go ahead and make sure everybody understands. This is a huge blow, regardless, right? Like, if it's 3 months, 3 days, it sucks to see such a rising star leave in pain with his ankle looking the way it looked. But I don't play doctor on television, only on text message to my friends. That's who I'm going to play doctor with. We all had our ideas of what they think it's going to be. I'll allow, because there have been other injuries that I've seen that I don't think are that severe, that turn out to be extremely severe, and vice versa, injuries that are that I didn't think were severe, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Both sides. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It ain't good. Hopefully it's a short turnaround and we get to see him soon. So, but I do want to see what these young players who I've been super excited about, partially because I get to know them, right? Like I'm blessed to do this job where I get to talk to Noah McHale in studio. I've talked to him 2 or 3 times here in studio myself. I've talked to Jordan Lockhart several times. I have not had an opportunity to talk to Ray Coney yet. I've talked to Damian Sanford. These are all very good young men who A&M went out full force to get them to come to this campus, and I fully expect for them to absolutely live up to the hype. How long does it take? Luckily, the A&M schedule, there's a little bit of a ramp-up time, right? So you get LSU at the end of September, so there's a little bit of a ramp-up time. Yes, I understand Arizona State's right off, the second week of the season. But hopefully there's enough time to get those guys, if that is what happens, right? If we don't get Sanford. But again, everything's an if until we're not. So let's just let it be. And we'll figure that out when it comes. But I do think people need to slow down on being WebMD and just let things play out. And when we get more information on it, we'll get more information on it. Anyway, with that, the executive editor, the co-owner, our dear friend, Billy Liucci joins us here in studio to look back on what was a great weekend in Baton Rouge. Yep. Billy, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, David. Great weekend in Baton Rouge. I was saying, wish I could have been there. But a sweep in the Alex box. It's about that was on par from an ass kicking level of the football going in there and putting 48 up on LSU. That was like that third quarter in Death Valley. So any time, look, and LSU fans get upset every time you criticize them, even though they're the most critical of their squad. I had someone this week try to tell me that Aggie fans are the most critical of their teams when they're not, and I get some of that where I'm like, yeah, they were lining up. Oh, thanks, Cal. I said I always have we have a little thing that if my hair is going floop. But they were lining up for Mike Earley a month into his job, right? So we can all sports fans can do that, but somebody was saying it was A&M fans were worse. I'm like, okay, so you've obviously never paid attention to what they do in Death Valley or in Baton Rouge. Well, they're just as critical of their squad, but the reality is when you go beat LSU and Baton Rouge and sweep them, they've had a bad couple of years in between these national titles. It's like Natty, bad year, Natty, this. And by bad year, I mean, I think they were like one of the last couple teams in that in-between year. But they've won 2 national championships. They haven't been swept at home since, was it 20? Somebody said 2011, but I thought it was 22.
That was 22.
Yeah, it was Ole Miss. I believe it was Ole Miss in 22 when they went on to win the national championship. So, same thing with football. Yeah, they fired Brian Kelly this year and they finished like 7-5. The reality is, you don't know SEC sports. You don't follow, like, there is a giant feather in your cap when you go. And notice I don't talk a lot about them going in and winning in basketball. They haven't been that good. Like, LSU is a national championship football program, a top 10 program in the last 30 years. LSU baseball is a blue blood of the highest order. They're on the shortest of short lists. Are they number 1? Are they number 2? Are they number 3? I mean, they're way up there. So anytime you go in there and beat them, A, you're beating a very talented team, whether it be on football or baseball. But B, you're beating a team with pedigree, with tradition. And in the case of this baseball team, you just swept the defending national champs. Period. Like, and maybe effectively ended their season. Now, they can get in, but I think it's going to take them a lot of work. To me, what was most impressive is to mentally, to bounce back. I say bounce back, I don't know, or just to kind of ratchet down a little bit from what you had done the weekend before at Texas. Not only did you beat Texas 2 in a row in the most anticipated regular season series I think A&M's ever played.
Yes.
And then you had that awkward, weird Sunday where you're at the stadium, or you're at the ballpark all day and all night. And then a couple days later, you go to Baton Rouge, and then you beat the brakes off of them. That, number one, the mental fortitude, and just to kind of show me, like, even more so, like, what this team is made of, to go in there and stay at, like, a 10 out of 10 focus level. And then the second part of that, the pitching. And I know they hit bombs this weekend, and Jorian Wilson and then Grohovec and Sorrell. And to me, the two stories for me from the weekend, Hakopian showing, like, exactly what this team's about. I mean, man, what a statement there to be in that lineup the next day. And then the other thing to me was the pitching. I mean, my God, like, LSU can hit. They got guys in that lineup that hit on national championship team last year that were starters and key players for them. They've got bats. You held them to 8 runs in a 3-game series playing at home. You know, so, I mean, and then if you look at the last 4 games, you've held Texas and LSU. Your last 4 SEC games, you're allowing 3 runs a game. And those games have come against top 5 Texas Longhorn team and 3 times against LSU on their home field with their home crowd behind them. That the pitching has ratcheted up so much lately. And they really, Zane and I were talking, you know, they really had a rough couple weekends to start SEC play, and that's kind of been about it. You know, what were the scores of the last 2 Vandy games?
They double digits.
They were a rough patch there. Missouri got to them a lot in that first game. They've settled down really nicely, I think, after that first Vandy game. When Vandy put up, I think it was 14-8. After that, I think
14.
they've really settled in as a staff in terms of, like, the weekends. And look, how I saw somebody say in my mentions, the only negative was 2 of your starters couldn't get out of the 5th inning. I'm like, no. To me, it was a positive. They got into the 5th and hadn't given up really any runs. I think, what was it? Was Sadeo had given up, was it 1 or 2? And Moss had given up none when he came out. I think he ended up with 1 earned run. So
Sadeo, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs.
Yeah, so 2 and then 1 by Moss. Like, yeah, if those guys are getting you into the 5th inning and they're allowing 1 and 2 runs, first of all, you probably got a nice lead, which you did. And then second, secondly, now with Gavin Lyons' emergence and fresh corn on the tail end, and I thought they got a great effort from, was it Darden? Was that Saturday?
Yeah,
he did that.
It was Friday, I think.
Friday was a really clutch bullpen outing. So I thought they got 3 quality starts, and they got a lot of quality effort from the bullpen, particularly, from fresh corn and Lyons. So
Billy, you scored more runs than they did in game 1 than they did the entire
whole
series.
Yeah, it was an ass kicking, and again, it was not only that you may have ended their hopes of the postseason, which is always an added bonus when it comes not just to LSU, but any rival. I would love to see them do that to Texas in a sport or two.
Yeah.
You had your chance to do it to them in basketball the last couple of years, and I would love to have seen them do it. Anytime you can do that to a rival and kind of put the dagger, it's awesome. And LSU is a rival, and part of why they're a rival is geography and fan overlap, particularly in our city of Houston. And the other part is you respect their program.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the defending freaking champs. They are the 8-time national champs. I remember they called it gorilla ball back in the day, and they would just go to Omaha and score 20-something runs in a game. That is a college baseball dynasty. So you go in there and sweep them, you're doing something. And I know, look at the standings. You go, well, LSU's here, Vandy's here. You kind of will just, I guess, ignore that Texas is here, which is third because Texas A&M is now second. But all I know is they've won 3 series in a row against Vanderbilt, Texas, and LSU. What those are national championship programs. What those are high-level SEC programs. And so I get that Vandy and LSU aren't up in the top half of the SEC standings. It doesn't matter to me. Those are you just won series at Texas A&M against Vandy, Texas, and LSU consecutively. I'll take that all day and then some. And by the way, Georgia's a top 5 team. You can throw game 3 against them in there as well, and Missouri, and you've won 11 of 12 SEC games. You are 11-1 in a dozen SEC games. That is unheard of, especially when only one of those series was against a truly bad team in Mizzou. That's it. 9 of those 12 games have come against real teams. 3 of them against top 5 teams in Texas and Georgia.
I find it interesting too, especially with you on social, how people love to throw into our faces, A&M faces. Yeah, we lost, but we've got national championships. You guys don't. Look, we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Right now they won. The A&M beat you on the field.
Yeah.
And
with LSU right now, A&M is one in the big 3, they're dominating them. I mean, I don't want to say they're not dominating LSU in baseball when LSU won a title last year.
Right.
But head-to-head, they have been kicking their ass. And they've won. They're what now? They are 2-1. They're 5-2 in baseball against LSU in the last 2 years. That is a notable difference. They're not 4-3. They're 5-2. They're 2-0 in football. I think they're 5-3 in the last 8 in football after LSU controlled that series so much to start SEC play. More importantly, their current coach and quarterback are 2-0 against LSU.
I think basketball's 3-1 in 2 years, right?
No, basketball's 4-0, and they're 8-1 in 9. So they have. And then, I saw where Luke threw in softball, too, because they've won 5 out of 6 against them there. But the reality is, in the big 3, because we could just keep going and do a full comparison, but in the big 3, and not only is A&M beating them, they're ending coaching tenures. And speaking of Twitter, they don't understand and/or in Louisiana, I guess, because I said
I saw that tweet.
They're ending tenures or ending seasons and/or. They did both in football. They did both in basketball. Their season was already over. They ended McMahon's tenure in basketball because he was fired 1 game later. And then
Brian Kelly.
I think Brian Kelly, they ended his tenure. And then everybody thought I was saying that Jay Johnson, after his 2 national titles in
the likelihood of them making the postseason now is
you essentially push them off the cliff.
Yep.
The question is, will they grab on to a branch on their way down, sticking out of the mountain, and just kind of be able to hang on until they get their bearings? I mean, it's happened, but for all intents and purposes, by not getting one game against A&M, they probably kissed their chances at the postseason goodbye.
Well, and you mentioned some of the storylines from the weekend. I'll add one more to your list. Troyan Wilson continuing to step up to being like, we're watching the evolution in real time happen. And like what he did this weekend, it's just, we're starting to get used to it.
By the way, credit Mike Earley and his staff for building a lineup the way they have, that Troyan Wilson didn't have to get thrown out there to the Wolves at the very start of a season. And he was able to ease in, and because you have guys on that bench that can play, that can hit, and so he got to kind of come in when he was fully ready, and there was no like, hey, we're going to throw you out there and you're going to struggle for a month or 6 weeks, and hopefully it doesn't hurt your confidence. No, it's like, okay, it's his time. Let's get him in there a little bit. Now let's get him in there a lot. Now he's a full-time starter, and he's going into Baton Rouge. What a moment, or what a statement to be a true freshman in that setting, in those two games Friday and on Friday night in that game, to not only hit 2 home runs, but to hit 2 freaking bombs and go the other way with them. I mean, it's like big league, all-star big leaguer type stuff is what his tools are, what his swing is, what his power is, what he can do for a guy that size. He's a rare player, and but those 3 freshmen, all 3 of them are special. And Partita is still very much in the hunt, I think, for freshman of the year. And it's a great nucleus. It does remind you of when Chase was a sophomore and Grahovic and Sorrell were freshmen, and that team obviously played for a national championship. And look, this team is in the conversation. I think when people that don't sit here at this desk start talking about title contenders, I think A&M has crept into where like they're in that very next tier.
Conversation.
You have top tier teams, and then right after that, you're mentioning like A&M, and they're about to be in that top, because look, we're more than halfway into conference play, and Texas A&M is a half game out of first place, and the team right behind them is in the top 5, and the team a half game ahead of them is in the top 5. And A&M is now squarely in the top 10. So more important than anything else, they're thrusting themselves into the top 8 national seed conversation. And I think, man, it's a credit. Mike Earley's, people have to start looking at him nationally and say, well, the job he's doing right there, right now, after truly being pushed to the brink last year. And I give credit to Trev Alberts for kind of not listening to the outside noise a year ago and saying, I did this because I believe in it. I didn't do it. People think like Trev did it for those players coming back. That was part of the sales pitch for sure. And it was the whole reason he was in the mix. But had he sat down and Trev not believed in Mike Earley and what he could do with the program, in no world would he ever have done it. He did it because he believed in it, and to not give in to outside noise just 1 year in. And again, man, I said it last week. They were 20. I think they were 21 and 17. It could be 21 and 16, but whatever. I think they're now 24 and 16. In their last 40 SEC games. And they've won series now twice against LSU, once against Texas, at Knoxville, at Fayetteville. I mean, this is like really impressive stuff that they're doing in league play right now. And guess what? They got to continue to be, because you've got at Gainesville, you're playing a top 10 Auburn team. You're going to Oxford, which is probably the second hottest team in the league behind A&M, and then you've got another national championship program that's currently ranked in the top 25, Mississippi State coming in.
Billy, I said this earlier, and this is something that I know you attest to. You can react appropriately. Don't overreact to what happens, and I'm more saying negatively. Like, People wanted to overreact after that Tennessee no-hitter. People wanted to overreact to Vanderbilt, the Thursday night loss.
Well,
you can react, but we don't need to jump to conclusions completely because baseball's a long season, man.
All these sports really are.
Yeah.
Obviously, football in a lot different way, but like there's a million examples. I'm just giving it recent in terms of A&M, but like that win Notre Dame had here a couple of years ago, and then they go lose at home to Northern Illinois and then play for the national title. Like you just but you can find countless in basketball and especially baseball. It's the longest of seasons, and that's another thing. You mentioned that no-hitter against Tennessee. I told Brauninger on Saturday, I was like, you heard Jay Johnson after that Friday night game basically called out their entire portal class and basically said we didn't get the right players is essentially what he was saying. When you do that, that was, to me, I said, this will be the toughest game for A&M. You're on the road in Baton Rouge. You're flying high. You just beat the crap out of them the night before. You just beat the crap out of Texas and U of H in the 2 games before that. What was that? 11-4, 10-2 is 21-6, and then 10-4. So 31-10 in 3 games. And you're going back out on the road. And that, to me, Friday night, I was like, that's A&M getting no hit and run ruled by Tennessee in Knoxville. And you saw how they came out the next day, and they won that doubleheader and turned their whole season around until it wasn't. But that's what I thought we were going to get from LSU. And then the Aggies jump right on them, and Aiden Sims is out there to say, not today.
Sir. Yep.
Ain't happening. So to me, that Saturday win was to go and win that thing 7-2 and control it wire to wire was really impressive. And by the way, they've gone, 4 SEC games now without trailing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they took the lead against Texas in the bottom of the 6th. So they've played like almost 40 SEC innings consecutively without trailing. That's unheard of. It's unthinkable.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back, talk a little spring football, a little maroon and white game. Right now, if you're serious about getting organized and confident with your finances, take a look at Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary firm serving clients all across Texas with no commissions, no product sales, just thoughtful financial planning and investment management. And what makes Paragon different is the depth of their team. They've got 8 CFPs. They have a CFA all on staff, and credentials matter, and so does doing what's right for the client at Paragon Financial. Learn more at paragon-adv.com or call them up, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. And we're back. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Lunch with Liucci. Billy has transitioned to the maroon and white game. I think the headline, unfortunately, was the injury to Damian Sanford. Obviously, we don't know anything yet about his status, but it didn't look good. And now the interesting part is how do these young players, in the meantime, however long that is, step up to the cause?
Well, I guess Noah McHale stepped up with a pick six. Look, linebacker is a position that I liked but didn't love the depth. There just wasn't much experience there. I mean, Ray Coney had a lot of experience at Tulsa, and McHale had a little experience. Lockhart a little experience, but that's it. Sanford was your most experienced guy. He is. I think he's one of your. I don't know, because I don't think there's a true damn, that's your best defensive player.
He's in the conversation.
But he's in the conversation with multiple others. Whether he's 1 or 4 or anywhere, I don't know, but he's up there. And he had a great off season in spring, and he'd really built himself up to just get better and better and better. And recently, to become a captain the day before?
Yeah.
Right? Really tough blow for him. Tough break for the defense and the team. I mean, it's football. Everybody's got to step up now. Coney, you better be a hit. I've heard really good things about him in the second half of spring ball. McHale, if he's going to be a great player down the road, and it was going to happen maybe as this year progressed, maybe you need to happen from day one. But here's the other thing, and I heard you say it earlier. I don't know. Everybody wants to play WebMD. I saw a lot of tweets saying his season was over when he got hurt. I understand what it looked like. I was standing right there on the sideline, and I immediately, when one of those injuries happens, the first thing they do is call for the cart. I'll tell you the first thing that went through my head was, damn, it's awful for Damian. He's worked so hard. But the second thing right after that was, okay, to me, that's not an ACL. When you tear an ACL, people are going over there and looking at your knee, and they're checking range of motion, and they're, you're sitting there. They don't immediately. So that told me something probably, broke or dislocated, right? In my head, I'm going, if it was an ACL, he's done for the year. Done, no questions asked. This could be something that takes, there's crazy injuries like the Willis McGahees of the world, where those injuries, the Alex Smiths, where they take forever to come back from. But more often than not, it's an injury where if it's a break, let's just say I don't know that it's a break. It's a break, they just fix it.
Right.
And then you have a timetable on a return. And that obviously could depend on ligament damage and things like that. But it'll be interesting to see if he does indeed have to have it repaired, probably happening ASAP. And then we are in mid-April, essentially. So you go to mid-May, mid-June, mid-July, mid-August. That's 4 months. And mid-September is 5 months from now. And that's so is it a 5-month recovery? Is it 6? Is he back by mid-season? Is it 4? We don't know. Is it 3?
Right.
Is it 3 that he's back running in another month to kind of get? We don't know the answer to that today. And no matter how bad that looked, I don't think that's indicative unless you're an actual, doctor that is some type of orthopedist watching that can kind of observe it and make a much more educated assumption on what it is. Short of that, we're all guessing, and I understand where most people go, oh, that's bad. That's going to take a long, long time to come back from. Maybe it's 3, 4, 5 months before he's back. And if that's the case, then, I think you see Damian Sanford, back out there. Maybe as early as this year, but we'll see. I also don't know. So it could be something completely no. So we'll see. But hope you hope and you pray for him. And obviously, it would be a huge blow for the defense if you don't have him. If you know you're getting him back, that would be tremendous news that they would have gotten in the last few days or the next couple of days.
All right, we'll hit a break.
Tough break, but I'll say this: you play the spring game if you want. It's football. It's football. There's practice. Practice. People that act like, why would we do this? It's so stupid.
They're going to do it
no,
anyway.
Man, they're practicing. If you say that you've never watched an inside drill at college football practice, you've never watched two teams go at it on goal line or 2-minute drill 11 on 11, like that wasn't even someone falling into his, like cutting out his leg like you see so often. That happens, and it happens all over the country all the time. It's really unfortunate. It's even more unfortunate who it was in terms of a captain and a guy that's worked that hard and that guy on that team. But it's football, and that happens in practice a lot. If you're thinking they should cancel a spring game, what you're really saying is they should cancel spring practices.
Flag football.
Because that could have happened. Okay, there's 15 of them, David. Maybe there's about 10 of them that are pretty physical. And if that's the case, then you should just cancel spring ball. By the way, last fall, or not last year, the year before when they lost Tyreek Chappelle, they lost Chappelle and someone else.
Reuben?
No, I think it was a receiver. They lost two guys pretty early that season on to non-contact injuries in practice. When they were not contact injuries, and they lost two guys for the year in like the span of a week. And it was brutal. It was like, my God, what are we? And then there was also Reuben Owens. He got hurt getting tackled as he's running out of bounds at Kyle Field in a scrimmage in the fall. So you want to cancel fall practices too? It doesn't work that way. I think the only thing is if a coach, I think sometimes if you get to like practice 13 or 14 and you're healthy, and maybe these coaches go, dude, these two practices, we're going to go real easy and just get the hell out of here. We've done good so far. We're just going to end it. So, but that's for Mike Elko and, Kalen DeBoer and John Summerall or whoever. They all need to decide that on their own. But it's football. You practice, you scrimmage, you play. There are injuries.
We'll hit a break. We'll come back with some spring thoughts overall. Right now, we're talking about Guarantee Bank and Trust. They've been around since 1913, over a century of experience serving Texas as one of the most respected community banks. You've got Brandon Sears, who runs the team. He's an Aggie alum, leads the Bryan College Station team. They've got 3 locations in the BCS, very deeply invested in this region, but they're all over Texas with 33 great locations: East Texas, DFW, Houston, Central Texas, and as I mentioned, right here. Wherever you are in Texas, Guarantee Bank and Trust makes local decisions with people that you know and that you trust, and they grow strong for their community. They want to make sure that you know they're committed to help you thrive alongside with other Texas homeowners and hometowns. They support financial education, home ownership, local business, and nonprofit efforts right here in this very own community, and every decision is shaped by helping everyone here grow completely stronger. Exceptional relationship-focused banking, whether you're buying a home or running a business or beginning your financial journey. They are fantastic. Check out the website, gnty.com. That is gnty.com. Guarantee Bank and Trust, a division of Glacier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Catalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. So I was just pausing because Billy told me not to go, but he was joking. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner, Schuler's Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, let's do some spring takeaways. Billy, anybody catch your eye? And we can obviously focus on the spring game itself, which some guys had some really nice moments, but also kind of the entire spring.
Just spring game wise, obviously Isaiah Horton, a couple of those catches, especially the one down there on the sideline, the kind of what great ball awareness, body control, just kind of waited to the last second. The DB was all over him. He knew wait and not kind of tip off that the ball was about to come down. That's what the DB is always at that disadvantage, and he kept.
It's really good coverage.
It was a veteran type of catch by, and that was a good catch too that you're watching by Horton. He had a really good spring, and he is just such a weapon because of that frame. And I remember, yeah, there it is right there. I remember walking down that sideline with Easy Wachiku. He wanted to come down and say hi to some old friends of his. We were walking around there, and he saw Horton coming off the field. I was like, damn. He's like, is that the guy from Alabama? I said, yeah, he's really big. I said, yeah, he is. He's like almost like Jeff Fuller height he's like a linebacker. He's got a linebacker build, and he can really run with that too, but especially that frame is going to make him a nightmare. And he showed that a little bit of that during the game. I thought, obviously Reuben Owens,
a couple really nice runs,
and Morrow both, and they capped off. They both. I think you come out of spring feeling a lot better. Not that you were questioning. Not in the building they weren't questioning those guys, because frankly, David, that's why they didn't go out and recruit them, right? And add a portal guy. So I think you came out, though. Morrow looks explosive and very quick through the hole. Owens had a nice spring and capped it off with a great spring game. I think they felt, Elko and Trooper Taylor felt very good about those guys, and I think they showed you why on Saturday. And KJ Edwards was banged up early in spring, so he didn't get a lot of work. But he came back just enough, and what he was doing during the spring offseason was had people going, okay, this kid's going to be really special. And there are other guys as well. So there's a couple other guys as well. True freshman, second-year guy that I think we will be talking about. I talked about Tiger Ryden. I think it was Friday when I was on with you. So I think that running back position looks a lot better. And the other thing to me, Noah McHale, I'm sure there are consistency issues he's got to work through. Because, as we know, you make a wrong run fit at linebacker, it's a problem. Now, I don't think it should be a problem to the tune of a 50-yard gain. I mean, there are way too many 40, 50-yard, 40, 50-yard runs last year that, you say, well, this guy on the D-line played the block right and he got his head in the wrong hole. Well, that shouldn't mean 50 or 30. It should mean 8, 10, 12.
Right.
So they got to fit, and I know that's something Elko and those guys are figuring out, making sure okay, do we need to do something different schematically, or do we need to continue to coach these individual players? Do you need to get better players out there? Those are the three options for that, right? And I think all are on the table with the way the run defense went last year. It was stop, 30. Right. Stop, 35. So McHale, I'm sure, as a guy that's never started, is probably working through becoming a day-to-day consistent guy. But that play the other day, the pick six, and watching him in practice, I don't know how many times I saw a play whistle dead, and it was him with the pressure. Things like that. I think he's got a natural knack / instinct for the big play. But what stands out to me is that defensive line. I think they're going to be really rock solid up front. And I think Anto Saka is going to be a difference maker, different player than Cassius Howell, but I think he's going to be an impact portal guy. And then you got Marco Jones. We never talk about TJ Searcy. He looks great physically. He played well last year as a backup. He's played a ton of college and SEC football. He's ready to start. And I'm not going to name everyone here as I sit here, but another guy that has jumped out to me, two guys have jumped out I don't think I've talked about enough are Ryan Henderson, who I mentioned in a couple of my write-ups lately, out of San Diego State. I think he was I would call him a very pleasant surprise this spring, considering the hype versus what he showed so far this spring and what he looks like physically. I'm okay, that's a get right there. And then on the inside, I've mentioned Mims a lot. One guy that I talk about him, but he's lost I don't know if he's lost 20 pounds or 25 or 30. I don't know what he weighed actually last year, but he's lost at least 20, 25 pounds. It's DJ Sanders, a second-year man out of Belleville. And I'm just telling you, if you watch practice, it's a different kind of pop and agility on a guy that's 6'4 plus, or probably about 6'4. He can be that dude. I think he has a chance to be really, really good, and I think he took a massive step forward this spring.
Let's hit a break. I do have a couple other spring things to jump into on the other side. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. Right now, Milliken Reserve Farm-to-Table Community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces. They got a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They're dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community. It's an awesome place to go outdoors and just be with your family. A place for families to cherish generation after generation. All the animals and beautiful homes that are there. You come there to connect with each other and just be outdoors and enjoy it. From the hiking to the biking to the canoeing to the kayaking to the equestrian trails to the evening yoga, go there. And you can be a part of it all by getting a Conservancy membership. You're helping to ensure that the native landscape and the wildlife also receive member-only benefits like access to the trails, the member activities and programs, and much, much more. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Go check them out. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy, I'm going to, I told you earlier not to overreact.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not you, everybody.
Yeah.
I might a little overreact.
Okay, let's hear it.
The kicking game. Loved what I saw. Like, I know it's not going to be perfect, but just considering that was such an issue last year, it warmed my heart to see a 50-plus yarder and to hit your, those within 30.
That is one position where I think the spring game brings out a little more different, a little bit different gauge than a normal practice compared to other positions. There are fans there. You are on the big field. You're out there on Kyle. It is a little different than when you're on the practice. I think the difference is more significant in a spring game for that position. So for them to go out there and kick the way they did, it's great. But I will say, I want, if there's going to be a battle, please let it be because both guys are like
really good,
are really pushing each other. Because there was a battle last year, and then just for whatever reason, kicking's weird. You know this. Like, it's just at any level, all the way up to the NFL. Like, guys can be rolling along and they have like a bad couple games, and then it's like golf. It's like, baseball. It's the most mental. I think the most mental. It's not a lot of thinking. There's really not. I mean, it's technique. Well, obviously your technique needs to be, but I mean, there's no like
strategizing.
It's not a thinking position like all the other ones. You technique and you kick it, and the holder and snap it, depending on that and everything. But it is a mental thing more so than I think any other position in the sport. So it's the only way to explain like Bond's struggles last year, and then Zirkle, I think, had effectively almost like you could even say won the job in camp and stuff, and then got his chances in games, and it was just a disaster. And that just was like, be sensitive if you want. If you're listening, get your feelings. I don't mean him. I mean other people. Oh, it's too negative. No, like it block kicks killed you in your two, season-defining loss. The only games you lost were a big part of that was short, easily makeable field goals that were blocked. And so the kicking game was just really inconsistent last year. This was very encouraging to see on Saturday, and hopefully they can keep it going. And, you brought Alano in for a reason. Obviously, you thought he could be your guy all year and be nails, and he's proven, and he's done it. He's done it, in some intense environments in the Big Ten. So ideally, that's your guy, and hopefully that bar's set here. And if one of these other guys beat him out, it's because they went above and beyond that bar, because that does happen a lot at that position as well.
All right. By the way, the show ends here in a couple of minutes. If you're still listening, keep it on TexAgs.com, or you can obviously listen to Louis. I did want to ask you about a guy that I don't think we do enough. I don't do enough bringing him up. Marcus Radcliffe. Just kind of spring he had, and also that secondary group, right? There were some banged up dudes, so we haven't gotten to see the full complement of guys just yet, but all the reports so far have been good.
Well, the secondary, you really got to explore depth this spring and create depth and build depth. Like somebody like Adonis Curry, who's going into year 2, and they were really excited about when they committed him, when they signed him, when they got him here last year and watched him practice. He's an exciting young player on the roster that doesn't get talked about a lot yet because you had 2 veteran starters last year. You're probably going to have veteran starters this year. But, man, I don't know who's going to be the future at that position, but it could be Adonis Curry and Brandon Arrington. There's a very real chance that could be the case. So he got a lot of work this spring as a result. So did somebody like Miles Davis, who's now in year 3. And physically looks completely different than when he got here. There were opportunities, right? Perhaps none more so than for Julio Humphrey, who, to me, like I said prior to spring to watch him, I said during off-season conditioning work, like the guy is focused. They're saying it's a whole new personality in terms of his work ethic, the sense of urgency, the competitiveness. And then he showed that out there this spring. So to me, you got a lot of work at that position. You got to, I think, build depth. Ratcliffe we don't talk about him enough. He's one of the most unique kids on the team. I always talk about how amazing I think his charitable work is with the World War II veterans. But as a player, he's kind of done everything, gotten better. From 2 years ago to last year, he was probably one of your most improved players on the team. He came out of San Diego State, wasn't expected to start, did. The only thing he hasn't done, and he had a couple picks very early in his career, and then last year didn't. He's been doing that this spring. He's been getting his hands on footballs and coming away with. He's forced some turnovers. Like